Some presale condo projects in Greater Vancouver are collapsing as developers are going bankrupt and as buyers are walking away from their multi-million-dollar contracts. One of the most recent examples is District Northwest. It was initially planned as a massive development of 2 towers in Surrey with over 1,000 condo units located between Gateway and Surrey Central SkyTrain stations. This project launched in 2021 and they were actually very successful with their sales campaign, selling out close to 90% of all available units. Because the sales campaign handled by Rennie was so successful, Thin Properties, that's the primary developer for this project, was able to secure construction loan from KingSett Capital, who are a Toronto-based mortgage company. The completion for the project was estimated around 2026 and everything was going well until fall 2024, essentially a year ago. The trouble started when Thin Properties had a few of their projects placed in bankruptcy type sales proceedings because they failed to pay their mortgage loans to KingSett Capital. There were various projects that were foreclosed on in Richmond, in Burnaby, and this project in Surrey, the District Northwest. What's interesting is that each project was at a different stage of its completion process. The one in Richmond hasn't even begun selling yet. The one in Burnaby was pretty much complete, 95% complete. And the one in Surrey, the one we're speaking about today, was pretty much sold out. However, the construction was far from over. According to court documents, on this project alone, KingSett was owed almost $86 million with the interest rate of over $31,000 per day. The receivership and the sale of this project was granted earlier this year, and they actually had a successful bid from a Coquitlam-based construction company called BM Group. They bid $86 million for this project, so pretty much exactly what KingSett was owed. And the only condition for their offer was the fact that majority of people that have put down their deposits for this project, if you remember, almost 90% of all units were sold out. In fact, they had about $78 million in deposits held in the trust account since 2021. So the condition was for majority of these people, of these buyers, to stay on the project. However, because now the timelines had to be extended and essentially you had a different builder behind the project, a new disclosure statement had to be issued, which gave the buyers a chance to back out of the deal. From my understanding, the timeline was until June 6th for the buyers to sort of back out of the deal and for the BM Group to either go through with the purchase or not. But so many buyers backed out of the deals even before the deadline that this deal was pretty much dead in the water. If you've been following the real estate news lately, you probably already know the reasons why so many people backed out of this project. Number one, the extended timelines. The deposits were held since 2021 and the timeline for the completion was supposed to be extended until 2030, which is 9 years since the purchase of the project, and who knows, maybe that timeline would even extend further. And of course, understandably, a lot of people did not want to wait 9 years in order to get their units. The second reason, the slowdown in the presale condo market. I made several videos talking about this very fact. There is a report from CMHC Canada that talks about the presale condo struggles in both Toronto and in Vancouver. It also talks about how the prices for presale condos in Vancouver have fallen about 2.7% since 2022. So in fact, a lot of people that have purchased these units in 2021 are likely underwater currently. And given a chance to back out of the deal, of course, many people took that chance. On top of these two reasons, extended timelines and lower prices, I think there is a third reason, more opportunities in the market. Back in 2021, when these units were purchased, there weren't too many choices for the buyers. The market was very active and you were sort of lucky to secure a unit in a pre-sale type of building. Now in 2025, the landscape is very different. If you have cash and if you're looking to buy a pre-sale condo, you are sort of a king. You have so many different options of ready units, of pre-sale units. Developers are throwing all kinds of incentives your way, and the reality is that you can dictate a lot more now than you could years ago. In fact, the developers are struggling so much that they're starting to cancel a lot of their projects and even announcing layoffs. One of the big Vancouver developers, Wesgroup, just this week announced that they will be laying off about 12% of their workforce, which of course is terrible news, not only for the workers who are getting laid off, it really sucks losing your job, but it also sucks for the general market. Having less housing in the future is never a good thing. I know a lot of people are celebrating the fact that developers are struggling and finally we have some sort of control and we have a bit of a payback towards these greedy developers, but with all of that being said, we kind of need developers to build more housing. If they're not going to build more condos, more rental projects, as well as sort of market projects, we won't have enough housing moving forward. So clearly having these type of layoffs is just not a good thing. On top of these layoffs, we also see real estate marketing companies like Rennie, the company that was responsible for selling this project originally in 2021. They also announced some layoffs, first time in a long time. So clearly the real estate industry is really slowing down and becoming more lean in order to survive in the future. And coming back to the District Northwest story, at the moment, BM Group has backed out of their purchase because too many buyers have canceled their contracts and took their deposits back, that at the moment, this project once again is going to go up for sale. And once again, it will be sold in this sort of foreclosure type proceeding. And at the moment, I think the timeline is about 2 months for them to gather more offers, and we'll see how much this project actually sells for. I'll try to keep you updated about any news about this project or anything else that's going on in Vancouver's real estate on this YouTube channel. Please subscribe so you don't miss those videos when they come out in the future. And if you enjoyed this video and found it informative, please give it a thumbs up. Also, if you're looking to buy your first property, you don't know where to start, I have an absolutely free buyer's guide linked in the description below. If you're already a seasoned buyer or perhaps you're a seller and you need some advice here in Greater Vancouver, shoot me a text message, shoot me an email. The information will be in the description of this video. I'd be happy to help if I can. Thanks for watching this one, and we'll see you next time.